Good evening, everyone, and we would like to thank all of you that chimed in for joining us for another evening with the CCC on the Grown Folks Talking Network. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead on and introduce the speaker of the hour or the evening, and we're going to let them take it from there. So without further ado, the speaker for tonight is a dynamic individual, very bright, quick with the wit, and even smarter with the tongue. I introduce to some and present to others. Brother Smith, the floor is yours. Thank you there, Brother Smith. Thank you there, Brother Smith. Thank you there. Good evening, everybody, and thank you all for joining.
Lord have mercy.
I know you did. All right.
Wow. Just wow.
I'm saying the same thing. All right.
Now, CCC members, that shouldn't have been a surprise to any CCC member. If you have a list of who the speakers are, that's why I just kind of sit back and I knew it was coming. Like, wait for it. Wait for it.
Some of us needed that laugh, Brother Everett.
Okay, I got you.
I was like you, Mr. Everett. I was sitting there waiting for it.
Well, good. Now that it's been delivered, glad no one was disappointed. All right. Tonight we're going to talk about what does real mean to you. Now, I'm going to say this again, slow, to kind of get everybody's wheels to turning. What does real mean to you? Now, when you say real and you go back and look at it, real is defined by several different ways. Some of them are, well, one in particular is, it says true, not merely optional, normal, or apparent, existing or occurring as fact, actual, rather than imaginary, ideal, as well as fictional. Now, with that being said, what does real mean to you? And what I got from this is real is whom you are. Real is what you are. Real is how you deal with you. Real is you being in control of you. And see, when you have all of those things, all of those characteristics of real, then you really have no problems with self. Now, other people may have problems with self, but that's their problems. But you should not have problems with self. Because once you understand who you are, what you about, how you got there, where you're trying to go, expressing yourself, being true to you as well as others, you shouldn't have problems with yourself. Not to say that you don't have problems, but you shouldn't have problems with yourself. Because if you are real with yourself, you know what you're about. And I feel that's what a lot of us get caught up at. We're not exactly sure who we are. I know everybody goes, I know who I am. You ain't got to tell me. I know who I am. But if I went around and asked everyone on this podcast tonight, who are you and what are you about, what could you say? And in keeping it real, what could you say? Again, the topic being, what does real mean to you? The floor is now open.
Well, I guess I'll start it off. Now, are we just talking about real as our individual selves, or real things in the world, or fake things in general?
We're talking about self, real to you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Could you tell us what you said about yourself? Like, you said, and then you asked us the question too, or not a question too. Yeah, you did ask the question at the end of your what you said there at the end. You said something like, if I was to go around this podcast and ask each individual in here, like, what it is, I couldn't really hear that part. What did you say?
I said if I asked everyone on this I went around and asked everyone on this podcast, what does real mean to you? What could you tell me?
About myself, you said?
Okay,
honestly, I'm thinking about it. Okay, so don't think that I'm not here, but I'm thinking about what you had asked, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us are thinking about it too. Like, what could we bring, or what could we say, or what could we say to that topic? Because I feel like it shouldn't be hard, but being that some people don't know, like for myself, like I don't know sometimes about myself, but I'm more so like, in the moment. I know that's kind of wrong to say, but I'll tell you more about it, like, I guess, like, in the moment. I feel like people who was there at the game or the tournament, not really trying to toot my own horn here, but, you know, this is something that I do. I feel like, what is it? Unknowingly. I don't really just think about, I guess, what would others think of me or something like that. Like, no, I just do it because I know that's the right thing to do. And I feel like that there's something there. Like, I feel like like if you were to ask me, like, what type of person I am, or if I'm real, or is that what you mean? Like, if I'm real, like, as a, like, realness to you, what's real to me? Like, as a person.
Yeah, who is Tremail, and what is real with Tremail? Give us the real about Tremail.
I'm a go-getter. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a go-getter. My mom and dad have raised me to be a go-getter. So if we want to make something happen, we're gonna make something happen. Like where I was going with the whole tournament thing. We had a bunch of people call out on us last minute. Not gonna lie. Of course, the majority of us knows. A lot of people calling out on us, and we were just sitting there with three teams that couldn't even play really each other. Two of them ended up playing each other, but the older teams, of course, they ended up leaving. Shoot, we was going to make something shake that day, okay? We was going to make something shake. And most of us know, I mean, like, you know, what had to happen, of course, to make the thing shake. I really don't want to get into it too much because not too proud of it, but A lot of people are, but, it's okay. It is okay. I just know I'm a determined individual who has set his sights on. Once he set his sights on things, it's a must. It's a must. I feel like that's a good start for maybe people to, piggyback off of or something like that. I don't really know, but that's all I have to say about it for now, at least.
All right. And we appreciate that, Tremaine. Brother Gardner, you were saying.
I was saying, okay, you're saying what is real. I guess y'all start to look at yourself, and I could say I think I'm a real person. At one time I was not. As younger days as I ain't gonna say I've never been a backstabbing person, but I could sell ice to an Eskimo, and I mean I still can, but there was things that I used to do that I don't do anymore. You would look at, just like I take some situations that I'm in now, and I say I get myself in the situation. It's up to me to get myself out of that situation. I can't be the victim. I can't blame nobody else for Everett's shortcomings but Everett. And we had to do this in, this was well over 30 years ago. But I don't know what they call it now. But back when you were transitioning from a specialist to a sergeant, they had a course called the Primary Leaders Developmental Course. Before you got promoted, and some people had already been promoted, but you had to go to that class. It was a requirement. And Tremel can relate to this. I'm sure they still do this every Monday. But you go down to where your fleet of vehicles are, and you have a document. It was called 2404 back then. It's 5988 now. That's the form. But you do preventive maintenance. You did preventive maintenance on your vehicle. You do that once a week. It should be an everyday thing, but once a week, that whole day is dedicated to ensuring that the vehicle, if it got any deficiencies or shortcomings, they're brought to light that day. And if that vehicle needs parts or some work done on it, you go with a mechanic. He comes out. If he can fix it right there, he will. If not, you go into your clerk and you order those parts. So the first thing they gave to us about 3 days into this course, which is back in, I think I went back in it'd have to be early 1991. And they gave each member of the class that maintenance sheet. But instead of doing it on a vehicle, we had to do assessment of ourselves. And I don't think anybody turned in, because I know as my role as a leader, and like I said, we do that deal on Monday, you get a lot of people handing in the paper, say no faults on this vehicle. I say, okay. So we go around and you show me a vehicle with no fault. I want you to show me everything that you've done. If we don't find anything, so be it. Nothing wrong with it. But don't come out here. We need to go somewhere. It's Monday and we got to roll out Friday. And you're missing a headlight or a tail light that things like that could get broke, through the course of the day. But we had to assess ourselves. But I don't remember back then, but I know I didn't turn in a empty sheet with no faults. You had to write down, some of the things, evaluate yourself. preventive maintenance on yourself so that you don't make mistakes or your engine is running smooth all the time. So, with that being said, to be real, you have to evaluate yourself. You got to stand in the mirror every day and say, am I true to myself? Because if I can't be true to myself, you're going to be out there lying and bull skating with somebody else or trying to get over and run a game on them. So you gotta start looking at yourself to make sure. And I remember even this little part-time job I have, and I guess I had been there probably less than a year, and a full-time position came open. And I told the supervisor, I said, I think that right now, I said, I would love to do the job. I think I could do the job. I said, but right now, there are probably a lot of more experienced people going to apply for that position. And I really don't think I'm fully qualified to do it. I said, now I could probably, study and do whatever, but I said, right now I don't think I'm qualified to do it. And his response to me said, that's a pretty fair assessment of yourself. I said, I have a lot of confidence in myself. I know my capabilities, but my main reason for not taking the job, anytime you make a little bit more money, there comes a little bit more responsibility. And I said, I've been responsible for other folks' kids for double-digit years. I want somebody to be responsible for me now. I don't want to be in charge of anything. That's just where I am in my life right now. I don't want the added pressure, the added responsibility that comes with being a leader. I've done that. And like I said, the opportunity came up 2 or 3 more times, and I told him, I said, I'm fine where I am. And that's being real to me because I know what it entails. I mean, it'll be a little more money. I said, that's always good to have. But sometimes more money, more problem. I don't know what rapper said that, but I know it came up. But as far as you saying, people say, I know myself, I think I know myself, and I'm still learning a lot about myself because I still do foolish stuff. And I said, man, why you do that? You know better than that. But, all in saying as long as we can, continue to not harm anyone else, continue to treat people the way you want to be treated, then that's real to me. But I know a lot of people that are not real. I'm not going to go there because we're talking about self right now. But that's my take, my first take, and we'll see how it goes.
All right. Thank you. Definitely appreciate that, Brother Everett. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in on this. That was Biggie that said that, by the way, bro. That was Biggie that said that quote. Good looking out. All right, so being real to oneself as far as I go, what does it mean to be real to me? It means unapologetically being your unique self, the eccentric being that you are. Anyone knows me personally knows that I'm quite eccentric. And I move in that energy always. That's what being real is. Having your vision to walk in your purpose, having the initiative to do it, steadfast, regardless of what that is. Any adversity, anything you got going on, my people's opinion of me is none of my business because I'm going to keep it moving. That's being real. That's my take on it.
All right. I would definitely appreciate that, Brother Andre.
Always.
And to say this, all of you are correct. Because it's what it means to you. It's not going to mean the same to everybody. Only what it means to you. Because you can't hold nobody accountable for you but you. Because that's a part of being real to me. Being able to look in the mirror at yourself and know your flaws as well as your strengths. Admit to your mistakes. Hold yourself accountable for what it is you do or don't do. And continue to push, thrive, and move forward. And I feel like at this day, age, and time, a lot of that is just not happening these days. For whatever reason, I don't know. But just my opinion, I just feel like a lot of people feel like they can skip, skate, and donate through life. And you have those that try it. You know, I heard Everett said he could sell ice to an Eskimo once upon a time. And I did, hey, I could sell a cripple crab a crutch. But as you get older, you're supposed to get wiser. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to let you know I'm still in we continue though. You say you get older as you get wiser as you get older, like you said?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I just wanted to let you know
I said as you get older. Yeah, I said as you get older, you're supposed to get wiser.
I like you said that before that. I'm not to get off topic, but you can sell a cripple crab a crutch. Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Let it be known.
Yeah. But, you know, like I said, as you get older, you're supposed to get wiser. Because you're supposed to be able to learn from whatever mistakes you made in the past and continue to move forward. You know, it's like Andre said, the train keeps moving. It doesn't stop. And, you know, like I said in the beginning, other people may have a problem with you. But that's not your problem. That's theirs.
Mm.
Because as long as you know where you at and you real with who you are and what you about, like I said, you shouldn't have problems with yourself. And if other folks got problems, that's their problem. Them not yours.
So there is power.
You know, and as like I said, you know, at this day, age, and time, we all need to know who we are, what we're about, where we're going, what we're doing, being accountable for self. Because I feel like if we can do that much as a people, that would be an enormous feat. And I feel like as a people, we can move forward so much faster, so much easier.
With that being said, when you said as a people, a good buddy of mine, and I didn't see that he had posted it.
Calendar.
Until I went back and looked back at the caption it was on Facebook. But it had 4 guys climbing a tree. And 2 white fellas on the right, 2 brothers on the left. And I'm not saying this is the truth, but I mean, sometimes they said we get this a lot. And I looked at it again. I said, oh, okay. And when I saw that the person responded to my comment, it was a good buddy of mine that had posted it. But on the right-hand side, 2 white guys climbing the tree. One was climbing the tree. His buddy was helping him up the tree. On the other side, the left-hand side of the tree, two brothers. The brother was trying to climb the tree. The other brother tried to pull it down.
The other brother did what?
The other brother was trying to pull him down.
Oh.
Instead of having his hand under his buttock, pushing him up the tree, he was doing everything he could to pull him down. And I put in the comment, I put crabs in a bucket.
That's what it is. And that's horrible. That I wonder what was it, the black people or white people that put that up there?
No, it was a good friend of mine. He's a black guy.
Oh.
Now, if it had been a white man that put it up there, I'd have been offended and I'd have probably called him out.
Okay.
Because on the same note, group that I play golf with, most of them are extreme right-wing guys, think they're stand-up guys. Most of them are good people. We just don't share the same political views. We share a lot of the same, but then a lot of them that we don't. Because the one guy he put on and I said, this is going to be off topic, but it goes to the point of being real and not real, if you missed the introduction. But it was saying my LSU Tigers, talking about the women's basketball team, said they were not on the floor for the national anthem. And that's might make me not be a fan of that team anymore. So some people said this is something they have done all year. They're never on the floor. And a lot of people get it twisted. They want to say, well, why come they can't be out there to respect the flag, respect the people that fought for the country, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like this, to me, that's a personal opinion. And a person, I've been back in the 80s, I didn't stand up for the national anthem. I had some views, and my buddy was like, man, the home of the brave, land of the free and the home of the brave, they ain't saying nothing about it, brother. And that was my radical view back in the day. But then 6-7 years after that, I joined the military. And like this, I could care less if you stand, if you kneel. It's not going to change my opinion. I'm going to continue to watch sports. Like I said, people have their own opinion of how they feel. And we're all going to be here, whether we stand up for the flag or not. I think to me, it's a symbol. It's a song. And I could do with or without it. And I hope nobody don't get offended by that. But that's just how I feel. And I said, if I put that on there in response to his thing, I probably won't be invited back to none of the golf tournaments. But so be it if I'm not. I was doing fine before I met y'all, and I'll do fine after.
After, that's right.
Yeah. So, but I keep a lot of opinion to myself. But, we're discussing, and they asked me a question. The one dude told me, he said, hey, Everett, I know that, your dad, he's in the military, right? I said, yeah. He said, what if you was not stand up for the national anthem? He'd probably do this and that. I said, y'all don't know my daddy. That's one of the roles. He hated white folks, or he hated And, I said, you don't really know. But I said, we were raised right, but when that would come apart, would come to light, it's just like every other black man that grew up way back and experienced Jim Crow. He has his mixed emotions about, and even today, a lot of us have mixed emotions about how we're still treated in this, and that's still a part of being real.
That's all I was going to say. Jim Crow is not dead.
He's not dead. He's just wearing a suit now. Yeah. But that's all I had to say. I was bringing that up when Hamp said, we as a people need to, we do need to come together a lot more, but I just reminded me of that picture, and that stayed in my mind all day. And it took me a minute, the second time, to really see what was going on. I said, it's like 4 people climbing a tree. Oh, but then I looked at one side, helping the other side, trying to hinder when another person tried to get to the top. But we, like say, come together, be real with one another and help one another, we'll all be in a better place.
Yeah.
I'm going back on mute.
All right. Thank you, brother. Anyone else?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question. I was delayed on arrival.
What does being real mean to you?
Oh, God. You sure you want me to answer that question?
Hey.
Realistically,
yes.
My criticism, people have criticized me many times for, Adrian, you don't have to say all that. You don't have to be so real. You can hold some stuff back. But if you want to know, I'm going to tell you. You know, you want me to be nice about it. Sometimes it's nice things to be said. Sometimes it's not. But I believe in being honest with people. You know, I'm not going to smile in your face and tell you one thing and do something else behind your back, because that's just not who I am. That's not who my mama made me to be, because my mama wasn't like that either. You know, I can't worry about you get your feelings hurt. If you ask for it, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you straight off the cuff. You know, and that's just how I've been. Some people love me for it. Some people hate me for it. But I'm okay. You know, like I was telling, we were talking at a Bible study, and we was talking about that. You know, are you real or are you phony? You know, can you be real with people, or are you worried about what they think about you? I don't care what people think about me. I'd rather they think that I'm real. You can ask Adrian; she'll tell you how she really feels. Or, you know, don't listen to her. She's so flaky. She changed her mind as soon as she find out that people don't agree with her. But I just don't have time in my life, especially at my age, to worry about what people think about what I'm saying. I don't have a problem apologizing if I hurt your feelings. But my thing is, don't ask me if you don't want to know, you know.
And that's the thing with a lot of people. You ask questions so that people can stroke your ego, but when it backfires and they tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, then
right.
All of a sudden they're wrong.
It's a problem, yeah. That's exactly what the teacher said at Bible study tonight. You know, be honest with the other people. Be honest with yourself. So when somebody else say something that might hurt your feelings, you'll be able to sit back and say, yes, she's right, though. Or he's right, though. You know, if you're honest with yourself, you won't get your feelings hurt. You know. I know I can.
Everybody.
Hello.
Go ahead. Hello.
Good evening. It's
Hello.
Good evening.
How are we doing this evening?
We're all doing fine, and yourself?
Doing just fine. Keeping it real.
That's what we're talking about, keeping it real.
I just talking about a friend of mine who asked a question, and then when you answer the question honestly, then you know, why'd you say that? Well, you asked.
Yep.
So
that's what I was saying. Don't
so,
ask the question if you don't want the answer.
My answer is often, I'm just keeping it real. You know, you asked, so I'm keeping it real. But it's but what is real? Real is, you're saying, look in the mirror. Real is knowing your ins and outs and your intricacies. And I think someone said something about knowing your uniqueness. And I think we get so used to blending in, we don't recognize our own uniqueness. And then when we do, we still want to blend in. So I look, I'm involved with an African American task force, and that task force there was a joint task force meeting. So the Jewish task force, African American, the
Hispanic,
this one and that one, the Spanish, and then I'm just sitting there. I'm like, for real? For real? So we're sitting here together. We're saying this, that, and the same rhetoric, time after time, and then everybody goes in their own corner. Blacks go be black, Asians go be Asian, the Spanish go be Spanish, the Jewish go be Jewish, until the next time we come together and share ideas that, no action gets taken. So, so being real means looking at your biases as well as your strengths and pushing through regardless.
All right, thank you.
Never mind.
Who's washing dishes?
Hello?
I wasn't quite washing dishes, but thank you anyway for being concerned.
Hi, my name is Michael, and I discovered what was real for me is that I'm into health, and I never wanted to teach, but I noticed that I help a lot of people out, and I was talking on a friend's show on Grown Folks. She asked me to come on her show, and I talked. And after the show was over, the CEO of the show called me up and said, "Brother, we want you to do a show." And I just thought about it. I'm like, well, why do they want me to do a show? He said, well, we like what you're talking about. So I thought about it, and I said, you know what? Maybe that's a good idea because I have passion for people, especially in our community. I try to reach out to them. And one of the number one things that really pushed me into health is that so many people in our community are sick, and they need to learn how to make themselves healthy. So that's one of my missions, is to help people, because actually when I help people, they teach me things that I didn't know about. And I do my research on it and trying to find out to help them out. So I'm starting, I have a show on Grown Folks Network called Your Community Health Club. It comes out tomorrow at 5. And I did my first show, and I was teaching people how to make pumpkin seed milk. Because a lot of people drink milk, and I said, that's one of the things that's really hurting a lot of people because it's not very nutritious. So on my show, I teach people how to make different things and how to start their own health group to help their families and friends, because we have to do it as a community to help each other out. And that's one of my missions, and I'm happy I decided to do it because I can actually go, how many people in your family or friends that you know are sick or have health problems? And they raise their hand, and I'm just like, wow, we need to do something about it. The only thing we can do to help each other, we have to help each other, and we have to learn together and learn how to, get our health together, because there's too many people who have diabetes, sugar, you name it, high blood pressure, and all that's pretty much curable. But there's no outlet out there where people can learn how to heal themselves. So I learned that, for me, I have to push that out there. I'm glad I joined the network, and I'm going to help people start their own health club with their friends and family, because that's the only way we're going to get better as a community. We got to help each other. So I'm proud that I, stepped up. I never didn't want to teach, but I'm like, you have to, because you're going to help your community. And that's all I'd like to say. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Michael. And before we get off the air tonight, we will allow you to plug your show again so that the benefit of those who didn't get to hear exactly when you come on will be able to get it at that time.
Okay, this show is called Your Community Natural Health Club. comes on the first Thursday of the month and the third Thursday of the month, which is tomorrow at 5 p.m.
All right.
So I hope
So I
everybody
got
can
that
come
5
on
p.m.
and
tomorrow.
yeah, especially if they have health problems, spread it on to other people because we need to help each other. That's the only way. You know,
All
have
right. Again,
testimonials. And you're welcome.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. You know, the biggest thing that I've found as I've gotten older about being real with self is it's easy. You know, all of the things that you used to do back in the day to get by, get over, get past, you find that as you get older, well, I found as I've gotten older, all of that don't matter no more. You know, I no longer want to take the long way around anything. I want to get straight to the point. Because I realize everybody is not going to want that. But for me, it works. Because that's real to me. I don't need to put butter on the bread to call it toast. Just put the bread in the oven and get it over with. You know, and that's one of the things that I try to pass on to a lot of the younger ones today. You know, just cut through the chase. Everybody's not going to agree with what it is you say, but as long as you are confident in who you are and what you say, all of the disagreement is not up to you. It's up to them that disagree.
Right.
And as soon as you can realize that, the easier life will be for you, the less stress you'll have. Said and all that. I was talking to somebody today, and I told him, I said, you know, I found myself stressed when I was paying $1,200 a month child support. Hey, but after my child turned 18, I wasn't stressed no more. I was smiling on payday.
That's real.
You know, and all of the good stuff, because that's real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's real. I say, but when it was coming out, it was real then too. Wasn't nothing to smile about on payday. You know, and everybody's like, oh, well, you know, they take it for you know it's gone. No, you know it's gone when you get it.
Mm-hmm.
Believe that. You know it's gone. And if anybody that's on here that's ever had to pay child support, you know what I'm talking about. You know it's gone. You think about it, and it hurts. Well, I can't say it hurt everybody, but it hurt me. But, you know, again, that's all a part of being real with yourself. You know, obligations you have. Anyone else?
This is Ayani. And, you know, in the vein of being real, sometimes you can get into a head space or even a heart space where you don't know what's real and what's not. I am flooded with emotions because of the things that have happened today as well as tonight. And I am struggling to be I don't even know the word I want to use, just to be right now. I want to burst out in tears. which a lot of people think, they see somebody crying, oh, they're weak. No,
that's not weakness.
That's necessarily it, because I get so angry sometimes that's what I got to do to release some of that stress and that pressure. And don't get me wrong, I am a very loving, very kind, very generous person most of the time. But days like today, I just want to hit something. I want to hit something until my fists are bloody. I love God, and I love His people. But sometimes those people will push you to the edge. And you forget who you are. You forget what's real. So in all of that blinding anger and frustration, all I can do is hold on to His hand. That's what's real. That's what's real for me right now. I appreciate you listening. And, I got to make a joke because that's just me. In the words of our ancestors in the Black church, y'all that know the words of prayer, pray for me. I love y'all.
Say that again. Y'all don't know the word?
I said, y'all that know the words of prayer, pray for me.
Oh.
I think you want everybody praying for you because some folk done forgot.
You just had to try to make me laugh, didn't you? Oh, Jesus.
It seemed to have worked.
It did. Oh. Y'all just don't know. Today has been a day.
We'll continue to hope and pray that it does get easier as time goes on. Thank you for your comment.
Yeah, I hope everything gets better, bro. Really do.
Say that again, Mel. We couldn't hear you.
I said I hope everything does get better for you. I understand wanting to punch things to your hands get bloody. You felt that a lot, but prayers is up for you. I know for sure tonight for me. Wish I had a punching bag for you, That way you could let some pressure out. Prayers is up. We appreciate you sharing.
Thank you, Mr. President.
If I may say.
Go ahead.
Yanni, scream if you need to scream. Cry if you need to cry. Let it out. Don't hold it in. That's too much pressure on every part of your body. And as you are a believer, just hold up your hands and give it to God. Bigger than us, stronger than us, mightier than us.
Yes,
but don't hold it in. So.
Thanks, Ivani.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Hi, I just wanted to say, when I feel like that, I always think how lucky I am compared to ancestors and other people around the world. I'm like, what I'm crazy about and getting sad about, pretty sure somebody would love to trade my place. So I realize how lucky I am. So that's how I overcome a lot of things when I'm down and out. I'm like, just consider yourself lucky. Tomorrow's a new day. Not going to be the same. You can change the future and stuff like that. So that's how I think I'm just lucky, compared to a lot of other people. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, everyone. This is Angela. I've been sitting back listening to the topic and everyone's discussion on the topic. Before I give my definition of being real, what it means to me, I first want to acknowledge my sister. Let her know that I am here. I've learned over time that when things are rough, and people tell you, let me know if you need something, we'll never let them know. So just keep your phone on because I'm calling when the podcast is over. I've agreed with everyone's definition of what being real or keeping it real or what real is to them. For me, being real is, as everyone else is saying, being real to yourself. The self-inflection, because I can't be real, I can't be honest with anyone if I'm not honest with myself. So for me, it has been a struggle to keep it real up until this age. A lot of people have said, "Oh, I've always been strong," and I have not always been strong. The woman I am today is nothing like the woman I was 2 years ago, 5 years ago. I was always more concerned about other people's opinions, whether it was my parents' opinions, it's my sister's opinions, it's my family's opinions, it's everybody's opinion. I want to make everybody happy. I want to make sure everybody is okay. And in the midst of that, I stressed myself. Mm-hmm. And I had multiple conversations with my mother because she kept it real, for real. And she says, you're going to get to that age, and when you get to that age, you're going to be all right. And we would always laugh, and she said, you'll be able to tell me anything you want to say, how you want to say it, because I was 49 years old and still didn't say a harsh word to my mother. That was just me. She said, but you can talk any kind of way when you get 50. And unfortunately, she didn't make it till I turned 50. But after she passed, I started feeling it. It's like nothing else really matters at this point. I got to take care of me. And by the time I turn 50, it doesn't matter anymore. I have always been a blunt person to some people. I will say what it is. If you ask me, I'm going to tell you. And like Deborah said earlier, I may apologize for my delivery. However you ask me, so I'm going to tell you. And now it's a tad bit worse. If it come up, it come out. Not disrespectfully ever. But I have learned that my responsibility for keeping it real to me, keeping me real, is to be honest with others. And that's come with self-knowledge. And it has, as Hamp said earlier, as you get older, you gain more wisdom and you kind of understand more about what really is insignificant in life. I really don't care if somebody read a social media post that I make and say, "Oh, I know she's talking about me." If her dog gonna holler, in my opinion. I don't think about what people think anymore of me. I say no, and I understand now that no is an entire sentence for me. But that was a hard lesson to have to learn because I was always concerned about others. So for those that may be on the line that haven't quite gotten to that point where, you're strong enough to say it doesn't really matter, there will come a time. It may not be an age, it may be a situation, but there will come a time where the light switch goes on and you realize it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But right. Just hang on until that time.
Thank you, Angela. I had that light bulb when I was like 40. I was like maybe 42 when the light switch went on and said, "It's not about you. It's not your job to make sure everybody's happy and smiling and that joy." And I didn't make a complete turnaround, but I made a slow turnaround to the point that now, here I am almost 20 years later. I can't say I don't care, but I don't worry about it. It used to be a worry for me.
Right.
I worry about hurting somebody else's feelings. And I've learned to work my words. I've been a crisis counselor. And it's bad when you're a crisis counselor and people say, you don't care what you say to people, do you? And that goes against my profession and my natural tendency to always want to make people smile and help them get over it. But I had to come to that point when I say I can't make everybody happy. Some people need to hear the truth. If you're asking me something like, do you think I look nice in this outfit? That's not life or death to me. And if they didn't, I don't see them anymore. I would say, no. Who told you to put that on? Who told you that looked nice on you? But so I'm not cold-hearted, but I try to be honest with people. Sometimes you got to do it in a nice way. Sometimes you got to do it slowly. Sometimes I'll just say, how's my hair? No comment. And who did that to you?
It's a gradual process for some. Some people haven't had that issue. Some people just have never been, that concerned. Not to say they don't care about others, and I'll never put that out there. But they look at life like, look, I'm living mine. You live yours. If you ask me, I'm gonna tell you. But I can't make you happy. But once you figure that out, life is so much easier.
Yes, it truly is.
Yeah, it's free.
Because you are absolutely right. I can't make you happy because I need to focus on making me happy.
And that statement is not selfish.
I can't tell you what's real. Yeah, it's not. And I can't tell you what's real if I don't know what's real.
Right.
I can't tell you how to be real with yourself if I'm not real with myself.
Exactly.
Every now and again, you got to sit back and take a self-assessment of who you are, where you're at, and what you need to do to move forward. Because sometimes we get stuck because we tend to teeter-totter on what makes others do what they do, because you're concentrated and you're focused on something that's not about you. And I know it may sound selfish, but if everybody would take care of self, everything else will fall in place. If everybody else would be honest with self, you would find a lot less heart attacks, a lot less high blood pressure, a lot less stress, period. for those that are. Now, again, for those that don't think you are, that's not on you. That's on them. Because when you can stand in the mirror, look at yourself, love what you see, enjoy what you say and mean it, you real with you, in my opinion. And like I said, everybody's not going to appreciate what you may say or may not say or how it may come out or whatever. But I've heard all throughout the night. If you ask me, I'm going to tell you. And my thing for that is don't ask questions you don't want the answers to.
That's right. That's right.
Because if you asking me a question and I give you my answer and you don't like it, whose fault is that? If I'm being real with me, that's not my problem. That's yours. I didn't ask me that question. You did. And then now you're mad at me because you don't like my answer. You know, again, don't ask questions you really don't want the answer to. An opinion. A lot of people's opinion goes a long ways with a lot of other people. But how far does your opinion go with yourself?
I agree. I have friends like come up to me and tell me, "Oh, did you hear what happened on the news?" And I said to them, "I do not want to hear what happened." They said, "Don't you want to know your surroundings?" I said, "My surrounding is me. And I don't want anything to distract from me." And they said, "Well, you don't know about the world." I said, "The world is world. You know, I have to worry about me. I can't be distracted by all this stuff." You know, and so they say, you have to do the same thing. All that stuff is distracting you. You need to worry about you, your health, everything. If you don't do that, you'll just get distracted.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So my world is me. I got to concentrate on me. I have to do everything for me.
And Michael, this is Adrian. I came to that conclusion also recently. In the last few years, you know, I spend so many time caring about other people, helping other people when I can. And when I was in a situation where I needed help, there was no one. You know, there was very few. I'm not going to say no one. There were very few. You know, people would call me and pray with me. Yeah, but I'm still in the same situation. That's not helping me. You know, but yeah. So I'm still always there to help people if I can, but I'm not going to stress myself over your problem, and you're not even stressed over your problem. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know how people do that? They're not even stressed about their problem, but they want to stress me about their problem. Because I used to be the person to sit back and worry about, Everett's in a bad situation. Oh, God, I wish I can do something to help him. But Everett's going out to the bar every night and partying. He ain't worried about it. So that was part of my self-assessment.
Yeah, and you know, in my opinion, family members are the worst.
Their expectations are unreasonable.
Because some of them actually feel you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
You're supposed to say. You're supposed to worry. Because I'm your relative.
Mm-mm.
You're supposed to be nice to me. You're supposed to be stressed because I'm stressed. And I tell mine, that's just not how the world works. At least not on this end. Because all I'm supposed to do is be concerned about me. Because if something happens to me, all you're going to do is find somebody else.
That's right, because they done got used to depending on somebody.
Exactly.
Replacement, that's all.
So, it's like I tell people, you'll be mad, you'll be upset, but guess what? You'll get over it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, that's not my fault either. Because that's your fault because you didn't choose to get past, to get over. But it's like it's been said, we've got to do better about self and being real with self in order to be able to be real with others.
That's right. Got to start with what Michael said, with the man in the mirror.
That's it. Changing his ways.
Like I even got rid of my TV because it was too distracting. Oh, this show's coming on, that's coming on, and I'm like, I'll be sitting up watching TV. I'm like, this is a waste of time. I need to work on me. And I know a lot of people like that. They just watching that TV. I'm like, that's all fantasy right there. What about you?
I've never been an avid TV watcher. Well, I do during the day.
Get rid of that TV. Sometimes that's what some people have to do.
Okay, so here's my keeping it real. And Michael, you just reminded me. So my keeping it real is acknowledging how I learn and what I'm supposed to do with it. And so that's what I keep doing, and that's what I keep doing. So as you mentioned television, Michael, I think it depends on what you're watching, because it could be very educational and informative. Television, movies, just as a side note. And it's interesting because I think it was Hamp speaking earlier. I watched a clip on, I think it was Hamp speaking earlier about the inspection of the vehicles. Was that Hamp? The inspection of the vehicles showed that they're right. And all I was thinking about is the poor boat that ran into the Key Bridge and the malfunctioning, as it's told, of that boat, that ship, right? And so I was watching a clip, I don't know if any of you have seen it, on one of the social medias, TikTok or YouTube or something, and the gentleman was speaking, and he said he asked AI what was the ramification of that accident, and it gave back to him Europe, Singapore, the trade market, stopping shipments. Of course, there'll be some reconstruction. And so while he was speaking and telling us what AI said, there was an animated rendition of the ship and the direction that it took and how it hit the bridge. And then the white horse came up on the beach. And I don't know how many of you know about the white horse. And if you haven't seen the movie Leave the World Behind, you would have not known that that was part of the movie. So even though it was an animated rendition, one of the video clips that came in was this scene where the cargo ship comes up on the beach in the Hamptons because of cyber warfare. That movie is about cyber hacking warfare. So I watch the things that I watch and listen for purpose without even knowing that's what I was doing. So there's some good to watching as long as you're not neglecting what you need to do. Because technically, when you were saying that, Michael, I think about this podcast. And all day it's like, okay, who's coming on when, how they're coming on. So whether you're watching or listening, the attractions that we have to things are sometimes for purpose. I've learned most of my medicine from television, and it is 88.5% accurate, and I'm open to receive more information and direction when I interact with physicians. And it is fact. To the point where they'll ask, and they used to ask my mom, where did I study medicine? Because I would tell them things that I've learned over the decades, depending on what we're talking about and how we're talking about it, that they were not even aware of. But they would go and do their research and come back to her, willing to do the things that I shared. So I take credit for paying attention, and I keep that real. And I also take credit for, in that paying attention, knowing when I should and when I shouldn't. In spite of when someone else wants you to, you have to know when you should. Oh, I'm sorry. I know when I should. You were speaking about self, right? I know when I should and when I shouldn't. Comment, be present, react. I don't overreact, but react. Because deliberately, over the years, I've learned to be patient and to think before speaking. That's my keeping it real. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Anyone else? Well, now, y'all, we done good so far. Don't get quiet now.
I just want to say one reason why I don't watch television, because you have to watch it at a specific time to see certain things. So I usually use the internet so I can value my time when I want to go look at things. Like if you watch TV, you got to watch it at a particular time, and so that's one thing how I get over that.
Right. And Bodney just demonstrated something else that I was thinking about. When we say, and when I say, I can only talk about me. I'm keeping it real, so I'm doing A, B, C, and D. There's always going to be somebody to tell you what's wrong with it. And I don't think that question was asked, what's wrong with keeping it real. Everybody has their own definition of keeping it real. Everybody has their own reasoning for keeping it real. Everybody has their own mindset about it. And we tend to, and I understand she's sharing her opinion. Wait a minute. I understand she's sharing her mindset about it, but we got to be careful how we say things. I learned that being a counselor for 30 years, and not to come across with, you have to do it this way because this is how I do it. And we all are different. Our minds are different, and our experiences are different. Like Michael just explained why he'd rather not watch TV. And I could understand that because I have a TV, but like I said, if it's on, mostly watching me. But I have my specific shows that I love to watch, and most of it is the court shows, because my experiences have been, I came up in a high school. New York has specialized high school, a Tilden High School of Law, Politics, and Community Affairs. So I was studying law in high school and went into my first year of college as a pre-law student when I decided, I don't want to do that. And so one of the things we had to do was go sit in courtrooms and watch cases, and then later on discuss it with the other members of the class. So I've gotten into that habit, and I still like it. Matter of fact, Judge Judy was one of the judges. I used to sit in her courtroom, and she was a judge in Brooklyn. But everybody has their own experiences, and they base what we base what we say based on the experiences that we've had. So and I sit back and say, try not to be judgmental by saying in my head, everybody has a right to their own experiences and to their own opinions and their own conclusions based on their experiences. Okay, I'm done. I'm usually funny and you don't laugh. When I'm not funny, you laugh. No, I'm joking.
Well, it's not what you say, but how you say it.
I know. I try to stay comical. I like to make people laugh, and I like to laugh.
Laughter is a good thing in my book.
Yes, it's awesome.
Do we have anyone else? Well, seems like everyone is
talked out.
Yeah, and I guess that's real.
That will never happen with me. I'll always have something else to say.
I have a lot to say, but I like to hear other people's, give them a chance.
Yeah, that's why I'm quiet now.
But one of the things I do is I do not have a TV in my bedroom. And I tell people you shouldn't have it. Your bedroom is supposed to be for rest.
Right. I don't have one in my bedroom either.
I said there's a lot of distraction on TV and it shouldn't be in your bedroom.
Well, some of the things that's going on, especially in late night TV, your brain is still working, even if you're sleeping. Things are still going into your ears, and your brain is still working. So I realized that I don't need that nonsense that's on in the middle of the night. It'll be on again in the morning. I watch the news one time a day, just one time. I don't need to watch it over and over again because it's the same news. And then I go to other channels, then I go online and find out, other information and details. Just once a day. I never understood those people, and I still know people like that who would watch the news all day long. And every conversation you have with them is about what's going on somewhere else. Go ahead.
I'm guilty of having the TV in my bedroom. Matter of fact, it's on now because I'm watching basketball. But I do have a time where that TV goes off.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I sleep a lot. Now, there are times when I fall asleep and it's still on, but when I wake up, I'll cut it off. But to have the TV on all night, you don't get the proper rest. And I figured that out. Once I cut that TV off, and last night I was really sleepy. And I seemed like I was yawning but couldn't get to sleep. I don't know if I know I had something on my mind, but and I finally woke up and cut the TV back on because I said it'll put me back to sleep. Then I cut it off again. But I have a time, like I said, I'll probably watch this basketball game because I don't have to get up too extremely early. But I have my clock set for the time that I do get up, go do what I need to do. But I get a lot more restful sleep when that boob tube is off. Because like you say, it'll distract you in the middle of the night. You think you're sleeping and resting, but like I say, your brain's working and whatever's coming off that television, you can still kind of hear it unless you're that deep of a sleeper. And I'm really not.
Yeah, what if something comes on TV and you wake up and it's like bad news? That's going to keep you up. So the TV is a big distraction. You got to control it. And a lot of people is not good at that.
I agree.
Well, the time is 9:57, and we're going to take these last 3 minutes for those of you who have a show on Grown Folks Talk to announce your shows, the times they come on. So for all of you that are on, you may start one at a time, please.
Michael is the most recent one. We'll let Michael go first.
Okay, my show is called Your Community Natural Health Club. Comes on tomorrow at 5 p.m. Trying to get people to start their own health club so they can help their families and friends. That's the most important thing for me to teach everyone, because you got to help our community. And that's the only way is we all have to start a health club. And I'll be there to help anybody out who wants to join me. Thank you.
Michael, do your show come on every week or every other week?
Comes on the first of the month, Thursday, and the third weekend, Thursday.
Okay. Thank you. And Friday, that's Thursday. Friday is my podcast, Can We Talk with Adrian, where we talk about social issues, community issues, education issues, and some religion, and a little bit of politics, very little politics. My third Friday of every month, I have a special guest host, Marcus Yarborough, and he does, I always forget the name, but he talks about dynamics in the community. Marcus, are you on by any chance?
Community activism, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Those are not the words. I'm trying to. I don't know why I go blank with that. But he's on the third Thursday of every month during my time. But other than that, all is well. Come on Fridays, 6 p.m., starting at 6 p.m. Tomorrow, it's going to be a different show. Mr. Sanford has some people he wanted to interview, and they couldn't come on at his time at 7, so he asked me if he can use my time at 6 o'clock. So I'm just going to come on tomorrow and introduce him, Mr. Sanford, and his topic. So that's going to be a special showing tomorrow. Come on. It's about the education system. Thank
Adrian?
You.
That's on Friday at 6 p.m. Tomorrow's Thursday. So
no,
Friday
I said Friday. My show is Friday at 6 p.m.
Correct. And so Sanford Williams is going to be on your show on Friday, correct?
On Friday.
Correct. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Oh, okay. Thank you for listening, Gardner.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And Marcus's show is on the paradigm shift. And it's
paradigm shift. Thank you.
Similar to what Carol was saying, building community working together. And his show, when you're on the show, it's a simulation of you being in the boardroom and sitting on the board to help structure the paradigm shift that will bring communities together the way they used to be. I'm Ibadane. My show, Ibadane with Company, Talk Worth Listening To, is on Mondays at 4 p.m. And it's usually Talk Worth Listening To. And I look forward to anyone coming in. And you can check out my YouTube at likessr.com. Thank you.
And I am Carol Lucille. My podcast is The Pink Sofa Talk, which comes on Tuesdays, 7:30. First and third Tuesdays are ladies only. Second and fourth, all are welcome to the Pink Sofa Talk. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Why, thanks, Adrian.
Thank you all. We really.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We really appreciate you all for joining in the CCC tonight. And before we get off, I would like to say to the members of the CCC, thank you for the weekend. Job well done. we did our tournament this weekend.
Oh, okay.
And we had members that had never seen each other that finally got a chance to see each other. So now everybody know who's they're talking to. And we had a blast this weekend. You know, our president was out on the floor playing basketball, making it happen. I think they lost, but they was making it happen nonetheless.
Yeah, that's the important part. He played.
So, again, I would like to thank the CCC.
Oh, there he is. He heard me.
That's the only part we're going to talk about, though. That's the only part we're going to talk about. Let's get the phone back. I'll let you continue on that.
But yes, we did have fun. And as I said before, I would like to thank all of the members of the CCC for the past weekend, and we're looking forward to doing bigger and better things. With that being said, I would like for you all
I have a question.
to keep go ahead.
So the events that you have, do you ever reach out for sponsors or advertisers? As some of us do have businesses on the network, and maybe we can partake in what it is that you do on some level or another to spread our business further.
We do, we will, we shall, and thank you for mentioning that, because now we know.
Gracias.
We will be sure that that happens, because I've just never thought about it myself. You know, we have sponsors around locally and some statewide, but I just never thought about anything here on the network.
That's why I'm here.
But well, bless
keeping
you,
it real.
But I will say this, we're going to upload some of the pictures and stuff that we took from the tournament onto the website so that they can be viewed by you all.
Thank you.
And that's one thing we're going to make. We're going to start doing a better job. Yeah. So as I was saying, you know, I would like to say that, again, we thank you all for joining us. Everett, do you have any last words?
Now he's
How
quiet.
about you, Mr. President?
No, I don't have anything.
How about you, Mr. President?
I got one question.
Go ahead.
For all those who have businesses in the CCC, I don't know if we can like get a list of that or something. But vendors would be nice at our other events. You know what I'm saying? I think other food choices would be cool to have. So like maybe we could be like not a list, but maybe a list or something like different people who got businesses out there that want to sell things and stuff. That way we can piggyback off of each other. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense.
Okay, can somebody tell me what he said? Because I could barely
I was just going to say the same thing.
Damn. Can y'all hear me?
There you go.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm driving right now, but I was just saying, like, maybe we could get like some a list of people who are vendors or who have businesses in the CCC. I just want to know because I do remember hearing briefly about some of us owning businesses here. So it would be cool, like, you know, to like piggyback off of each other or have like an event out there, you know.
Okay.
Like they're selling stuff while we're entertaining something. I don't know. like doing something of some sort. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. All right. With that being said.
And so I have a question too then.
Okay.
Are all of CCC members out of Louisiana, or is your membership open?
Our membership is open, but currently we all are out of Louisiana, but we're not all out of Leesville.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, concerns, or comments? All right, with that being said, again, we would like to thank you all for chiming in and being a part of the CCC's Grown Folks Talk tonight. We ask that you continue to keep it real with self as well with others.
Amen.
And in parting, we bid you adieu. Good night.
Adieu to you too.